We have another I-Team report tonight for you. A criminal investigation now has been launched in Bridgeport, Connecticut, after the medical examiner ruled that 23-year-old Lauren Smith Fields died from an accidental drug overdose. Investigative reporter Sarah Wallace says there's a separate investigation into the actions of case detectives.
This is exactly what we have been screaming and crying for.
Reaction from the attorney representing Lauren Smith Fields' family after learning Bridgeport police narcotics and vice detectives with assistance from the federal DEA will now investigate what led to the death of the 23-year-old fitness buff in her apartment last month. Yesterday, the Office of the Medical Examiner ruled her death an accident, saying she overdosed on a combination of fentanyl, prescription drugs, and alcohol. According to this police report we obtained, an older man who said he had met Lauren on a dating app called 911, but there is no mention of drugs in the narrative.
So fentanyl is the top drug, and then they have a couple other drugs they found in her system that are typically associated with date rape drugs. And so we want to know the source of that stuff.
We don't know how they spoke to the man, if they questioned him. We don't know anything. As far as we know, they just gave him a pat on the back.
In an exclusive sit-down interview with us last week, the family accused detectives of mishandling the investigation from the beginning, failing to collect evidence and refusing to provide any information on the status of the probe.
They thought they was going to just throw her away like she was
garbage.
Yeah. Like she wasn't important, like she didn't have family members that loved her.
With mounting pressure on the police department, the mayor yesterday issued a public statement confirming an internal affairs investigation that we first reported, saying there is no tolerance for anything less than respect and sensitivity for family members and their loss.
We're going through this over and over again, and just we're grieving. We got to fight and grieve and be our own prosecutor, be our own investigator. It's crazy. This is nonsense when the police should just do their job.
The attorney says he now plans to write the Justice Department, asking for a full civil rights investigation into the actions of the police department and the detectives who initially handled the case. Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.
Welcome back to the Divested Zealot Response channel. As you all have just seen the news report of the killing of Lauren Smith Fields. Now, I want everyone to look at the picture that I have in front of you. Notice the vest that her assailant is wearing. The white man who was involved in her killing. Now, whether or not he administered her the drugs or not, he is definitely a suspect. But because he was white, the cops let him off the hook. Now, notice the divesting. Look at the spelling. Divesting. Notice the vest. Yes, I know it's a backpack, but still it has the appearance of a vest. And that stood out to me when you put the picture of this white man, this white zaddy, next to this beautiful black girl who was killed at the hands of the divester community. Now, whether he did it or not, it's still a very fishy situation. And we're not saying that he didn't do it, but there are high chances that he was involved in the death of Lauren Smith Fields. And regardless, the divester community, they turned their back on one of their own. The tweets came out, and she made a tweet saying that she was done with coloreds. She said she didn't want anything to do with coloreds. The tweets came out. So she was definitely one of the divestors. She belonged to the same community with the divested zealot. But as you see, divested zealot and the rest of them, they turned their back on this girl. They didn't say a peeping word about it. And it was the very people who they say they are divested from, who did the marching, who were active in getting the cop participation to get the proper investigation ongoing, because the white police who came to the girl's house didn't even question the white man that you see. They said that he was a good man. There was no need to take him in for any kind of questioning. And you know good and well, if this was a black man and the police were called and there was a dead black woman in the home, you know good and well that they would take that black man down to the precinct for questioning. But because this was a white man, they let him off of the hook. And they said, okay, good white man, this is nothing but a black Negro woman, so we're not going to mess your life up on the behest of this black woman. And they have the same attitude about this black girl that the divester community has. You know, the divester community, none of them are out there marching for a proper investigation for this Lauren Smith Fields. But it was the very community of black men and black women who they will say are mammies for not going along with their divested community propaganda. They are the very ones who were out there on the front lines marching for Lauren Smith Fields. So the question is, where was the divestment community? And also, me like to say, Divester Zealot, congratulations. You have another death on your hands, so I hope you feel good. You've killed another young black girl, and I guarantee you she was listening to all of this divestment movement garbage that you see on YouTube. Yes, she was subscribed to Cynthia G. She was subscribed to Divested Zealot. Yes, she was subscribed to Lexus Exodus and all of the rest of them. But notice, upon her death, none of them say nothing about it. They turned their back on their girl because they don't have any loyalty. That's right. There is no loyalty in a divestment community. The only thing that they are sitting back and hoping is that this white man is not the one who killed her. Other than that, they couldn't care less. And notice that it is black men who are speaking out about the injustice in this case, because if this man were black, there would be a more swift and more intense investigation. But because he's white, it went unheard of. And if not for the brothers of Lauren Smith Fields, then guess what? This would have been just another case. It wouldn't have been ruled a homicide. It wouldn't have been ruled anything fishy about it. But it was black men, the same black men that the divestors called Dusties, who raised up their antennas of awareness to get the world to listen. If not, so we must congratulate these black men for doing what the divestment community will not do. Because whenever it's a white man killing a black woman, they are silent. You can hear a rat piss on cotton when you get around them divestment women whenever there is a black woman dying at the hands of a white man. They don't say a mumbling word. Divested Zealot, you didn't say a mumbling word about this. She did a show today. She did a show on her channel today, and the entire show, she was accusing the brothers for drugging this girl. The entire show, she moved the goalpost. She moved the attention away from the obvious, away from the elephant in the room of why would this white man, damn near 40, be at the home of this 23-year-old black girl after she met him on Bumble, the dating app, and this was their first date. You think Divested Zealot said anything about that? She didn't say a mumbling word about it. Only thing she did the entire show, she blamed black men, like always. They turn the camera on black men. Whenever there is a white man involved, they never say nothing about it. She stuck to her same talking points, which are getting old and tired. She can't say that black men are the most violent, and because there's been too many situations where white men have been killing black women. So her talking points have gotten old and stale. She can't use it anymore. So her entire show was just pointing fingers. She's saying now that it was the brothers who had something to do with it. And she said that she's not going to accuse this white man until the investigators finish investigating the case, but she had no problem accusing Lauren's brothers for killing her. That's what they are saying now over on the divestment crowd. They are saying that the brothers of this young lady that you see on the screen had something to do with the death of this young lady. But even though the white man was the one over there at her crib when she died, they have nothing to say about this white man, because this whole divestment movement is nothing but a vindictive agenda against black men ever since Kevin Samuels came out, telling the truth about black women and their attitudes. Women like Divested Zealot, they got upset about it, and now they are on this shamming campaign against black men. That's what it boils down to, because when they hear the truth coming from the manosphere about black women and their attitudes and their rebellion, they don't like to hear it. So that's when they went on the deep end and started calling black men dusties and this, that, and the other. It's not sincere. They really don't even want to be with white men. All of this is just a vindictive campaign against black men for speaking out and telling the truth about the behavior of these black females. Another thing I want to say, this Divested Zealot woman, she is nothing but a scam. She is scamming all of them women over there in her chats. She's telling them that she is married to a white man. This woman is not married to no white man. She's taking Cash App donations from these women. She's taking Patreon donations from these women. And when the truth comes out, they are going to turn on her. And I'm telling them right now, she is lying, and none of them are challenging her on her lies. Divested Zealot is not married to a white man. I know a liar when I see one. This woman is a single, old, 50-something-year-old granny. She's the YouTube ghetto gagger granny that's upset and bitter because she never found a man, because she was too ugly. She got too much of a nasty mouth, and no man want to deal with her. And that's why she would never show her face, because she know we will clown her. I'm just waiting for her to show her face, and I'm waiting for the truth to come out so everyone can see that what I'm saying all this time is real. Divested Zealot, you are not married to no white man. Stop with the capping. You know you're not married to no white man. All of this is just your vindication against the black man, those black men who stood out and told the truth. So another thing, even though this girl said she's done with coloreds, this Lauren girl, black men still came out and marched on her behalf, because there was a lot of injustice in this here case. Because as stated, if this was a black man, the police would be more adamant to investigate this thing thoroughly. Now let's go into what was found in her apartment. Her brothers had to do the investigation on their own since the cops failed to do it. They found pills in her home. They found a used condom. They found blood on the sheets. Okay, all of this is adding up to a crime scene. You got blood, drugs, and a used condom. And as the news reporter said, there are traces of date rape drugs inside of this woman. And with all of that evidence, the divestors still have nothing to say about this white man who is the elephant in the room. Okay, the only thing they're saying is that we are happy that this is a white man because so we can have something to say back. No, nobody is thinking like that. This is not nothing to play with. We're talking about the life of a young black woman. Even though she was a divester, it's still a tragedy because she was misled by that old nasty skank by the name of Divested Zealot. So Divested Zealot, I hope you're happy for taking the life of another young black girl. They need to lock your old ass up and throw the key away as well, because you a nasty old rat. You a nasty lying demon. And I hope you rot in hell. Yes, because you are misleading people, and this won't be the last. Watch, there will be more divestors who pop up dead at the hands of white men. This is just the beginning of 2022, and we already have a major case like this underway. So yes, these divestors have turned their back on this girl, and the very men who she left a tweet about, this Lauren Smith Field, the very men who she said she divested from, she called them coloreds. She said she's done with the coloreds. Well, you know what? If you were alive now and could see that those so-called coloreds were the very ones marching for you, what would you say? I bet you she would change her perspective then. And the very women that you were listening to who led you to your death, they're not even on the front lines marching on your behalf. So that just shows you at the end that there is nothing at the end of the rainbow for divestors except ghettogaggers.com, because that's where they end up, on a seat covered up in their own vomit, like the profile pic on my channel. That's the end of the rainbow for the divestment movement. Ghettogaggers.com. And when your ass die and they put you 6 feet deep, then guess what? The divestors like divested Zealot and arrested them. They don't even come out and speak out for you. They are disloyal bitches. And that's exactly what they are. And when you're dead and put under the ground, they don't even say a mumbling word about you, because you was nothing but a propaganda piece for them in the first place. They don't care nothing about this girl right here. So I hope this message don't go over the heads of any woman that's wondering, should they be listening to Divested Zealot or not. Let this case be an example for you to make the right decision when you reach the crossroads. And with that, this is the Black Lion signing out. This is the Black Alpha Lion signing out. Black Alpha Lion roar. Like, share, and subscribe. And remember, Divested Zealot, this woman's blood is on your hands.